every great Canadian founder story has a snowstorm involved. So thanks for including that. It's just natural, right? We don't even think about it. Can you expand a little bit, Don, on what's the unique problem that you're trying to solve with Deposit Rocket? Why did Deposit Rocket come to be?
Absolutely. What Deposit Rocket does is it allows you to access your equity quickly without having to put up a cash deposit or a certified check.
Kind of switch gears a little bit here. Talk a little bit about the life of a founder. This is a startup company. You're a good Canadian guy. It's not your first rodeo either. Can you talk a bit about what stage you're at? What stage is Deposit Rocket in MVP? Are you past proof of concept? Are you raising funds for this?
You said so much there, John. I don't know where to start, but you got me all excited. We are a privately funded Insurtech, and we're quite proud of that. The stage we're at is we are looking for innovators and first movers.
Really appreciate the solution that you're bringing to the market, and for highlighting the value of Insurtech, and hopefully for those who are watching out here today, you have a better understanding for what Insurtech does and how it benefits society at large. Good day, everybody. This is John Harvey from Insurtech Canada. I have with me Don Miller. Don Miller is from Deposit Rocket. Is going to join me today to talk about his Insurtech startup. A little bit of a blend of Insurtech and FinTech meets property tech. I'll let Don expand on it further. Don, welcome, first of all, to the interview today. Thanks for joining me. Can you start out by maybe telling us a bit about yourself? And would love to hear about your origin story.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, John. First and foremost, thanks for having me. And thanks for all the listeners out there. It's quite an exciting time for myself and for Insurtech Canada as well. And certainly looking forward to this interview. Sort of my origin story is I grew up in Guelph, Ontario. I went to Laurier, got into business and moved to Toronto, the big smoke, and started my career in consumer finance and worked my way up through commercial finance in sales and then in management, and wanted to get into my own business. I loved what I did not love who I did it for. And so I got myself into insurance and found out that the particular sector of insurance I preferred the most because of my aptitude in finance was surety bonds, and specialized my practice in surety bonds, and things took off from there.
Very cool, very cool. And that is, for our insurance audience out there, that's certainly a unique niche within the insurance ecosystem, surety bonds. So I'm sure we could have a whole other discussion just on that topic alone. When we talk about Deposit Rocket, I'm really excited to kind of unpack what is Deposit Rocket. I think your timing in the market is great. Can you expand a little bit, Don, on what's the unique problem that you're trying to solve with Deposit Rocket? Why did Deposit Rocket come to be?
Absolutely. So I was able to locate a product in Australia actually that wasn't available here in Canada without having to put up a cash deposit or a certified check. So instead of having to go to the bank, create the check, prior to that, they have to access their home equity. Often you have to free that up with a line of credit. That involves a home appraisal, or if you just have investments that are locked in an RSP, you purchase bonds or stocks, you don't want to liquidate them, or you're in an RSP and you don't want to pay any penalties. You're able to go online, show us that you've got the required equity in your home, you've got liquid assets, and you're able to produce a deposit guarantee. So what this deposit guarantee does is it stands in the place of a certified check or cash deposit, and it allows you to make an offer on a home. And we provide these approvals instantly online, which is great for COVID. It's great for traffic, the traffic around the city, although it is quite a little bit later than it used to be. But it definitely saves, realtors time and energy running around the city, burning gas, burning time, most importantly. And not only does this guarantee serve on the property you're making an offer on, but if you're not successful, you're actually able to make unlimited number of offers on unlimited number of properties with your one purchase.
That's just to kind of recap that a little bit. I really see Deposit Rocket, this product that you've brought to market, as making property ownership more accessible, also more expedient to the average person. So, and what's really neat about that, and it's kind of unexpected. You're taking an insurance product to make home ownership more accessible through the form of a surety bond, which I think probably the average consumer, that would be a foreign term to them. Doesn't really matter. As a homeowner, you're helping me, accelerate that process. I don't have to tap into my securities or my investments or other things that I have locked up. You're tapping into an insurance product, and I think that's really what makes this as an Insurtech. Is that fair to say? You've got and I'd like you to talk a little bit about the technology side behind it, but you're taking an insurance vehicle, if you will, and bringing that to the consumer to make something, to make a transaction possible for that consumer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said so much there, John. I don't know where to start, but you got me all excited. But what I love most about this product, it's a win-win-win. That's actually a win-win-win-win, because you don't often encounter products that benefit the consumer, that benefit the realtor, that benefit the real estate brokerage. And the fourth one that I threw in there is that actually benefits the insurance industry. So why it benefits the insurance industry is that it's a new product. It's new premium that's being generated that wasn't here previously. Right now, there's no competitors in the marketplace. The only person that's going to be quote unquote hurt by us bringing this product in is that there's not going to be as many certified checks written. So I doubt that BMO or Royal Bank are going to be too upset about that.
Yeah.
But to recap, what Deposit Rocket does is it allows you to access your equity quickly. So, I think a lot of times what happens in the home buying process is you start to look for a home, you're kind of kicking the tires, you're not sure, you're uncomfortable, you're typically, you're going to stretch yourself a little bit. And, there's that you're not always as prepared as you should be with your deposit money. And most people don't have that kind of cash sitting around in a bank account, especially when banks are only paying, 1% interest, if that. So you're inevitably going to have to unlock that equity. And so what this allows people to do is make a really good offer on their first offer. So if you ask an agent, how many offers have you lost because of a bad deposit, they'll roll their eyes.
Yeah.
And if they don't get that home, if they don't secure that on that first offer, who knows how many more offers they're going to have to make before they secure that purchase. Or if you look at it from the consumer's perspective, if they had their heart really set on that home and they kind of messed up, this is a really good way to avoid that. So the agent doesn't have to run around, pick up the certified check. They don't have to deliver it to the offer. They don't have to give it to the administrator. And then that administrator doesn't have to administrate that deposit at the brokerage level. And that's the third win. For the consumer, again, often they're putting up substandard offers. They're not via a certified check or a draft. And Deposit Rocket, because it is underwritten by an A-rated AM Best insurer, it's the same as cash for the seller. So everyone's literally in a better spot.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so that the quadruple win, that's rare, obviously, and I think you really sum that up nicely. Can you talk a little bit about the user experience? So if I'm using Deposit Rocket, I think that's where the tech comes in.
Right.
We don't have to understand all the nuances behind the curtain as far as the tech is concerned, but from a user experience, can you give us just a quick snippet of how that works?
Sure. Well, I'll even throw in a quick plug because we partnered with a company called Crossleaf, and Crossleaf had just finished up a new platform for first Canadian title, and so we partnered with a local Canadian company and one that had proven experience in the insurer and the finance sector. I think that's such a big thing for not only our insurance company, our partner, who's Northbridge, just to have confidence in our tech platform. But it's also really important for entrepreneurs to know that when they're first getting into tech, if you're not going with a proven entity and you're trying to save 10 cents by going offshore, you're going to run into trouble. So the user experience behind the tech is essentially a realtor can log into our portal and just simply drop in an email and make one click, and right away that starts the process, and the user gets a welcome email for them to log in. What's great about that for the realtor, I'll digress for a minute, and I think that's a very important point. At no other time in real estate has a realtor had control of the deposit. They don't get, they just say, go get a deposit. They don't have access to, they don't know when it's happening. They don't have insight into when that offer and that house finally comes up that they're going to jump on, what it's going to be. So in this case, they're able to make the invitation. They're able to track the process from the platform. So that's quite impressive. Now, in terms of the approvals, if your home equity, if your equity is tied up in your home, we can issue instant approvals, and that's through our partnership with First Canadian Title. And if your equity is tied up in your investments, our underwriters take a little bit of time to review that, but we can do that near instant or within several hours. We also provide an option for consumers and first-time home buyers, I think you mentioned them, who are waiting a gift. And often they're waiting that gift, and so we allow them to utilize their parents' home equity as a backstop for the deposit guarantee.
Really cool. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a plug here. You've got a great explainer video on your public website that in about 2 minutes goes through all of that. It talks about the gifting piece. Thanks for expanding on that. I think a lot of newlyweds who are buying their first home can relate to that. There might be some cash coming from relatives or friends, hopefully. Are you able to process most requests same day, or is it a few hours or a few weeks? What's the typical kind of cycle time?
So again, I want to digress. I just want to make sure that we're all clear, because the most common question I get is this a loan and are you transferring money?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is no. So we don't transfer any funds. We do not loan you the deposit. We simply verify that you have the funds elsewhere, and we issue a surety bond. And that surety bond is underwritten by an A-rated insurer, like I mentioned before, and that is e-signed, all per the Surety Association standards for e-bonding. That agent is able to have that issued instantly. So the consumer goes online, makes their application. As soon as that deposit rocket is issued, it'll go automatically to the realtor, and the realtor can forward it off to the selling realtor. And the selling realtor can verify it online. So they can look at the phone number, they can type it into the authentication portion, and they get an authentication message immediately. In terms of our, so we can fulfill these transactions instantly. So one of our marketing plans that we've just started is we're contacting every selling agent. So any selling agent that's got a listing right now, that's a really fresh current listing, we're sending them a message saying, listen, Mr. Agent, just so you know, Deposit Rocket is now in Canada. Consumers are now able to use that instead of a cash deposit certified check. If you receive one of those, don't be surprised. And if you happen to receive an offer that you're not really that comfortable with in terms of how big it is, You can go online on the spot in the driveway, and you can type in your smartphone or a laptop or whatever, and you can have it issued instantly. Um, there's no requirement to be at a computer to print anything. And or if an offer has come in and it's by an uncertified method, you're able to, again, go online and say, we love this offer, it's the highest one. Can you provide us with a deposit rocket so we know that that amount is guaranteed and it's not, just a regular check that has not been certified.
I think that point really would resonate with a lot of consumers as well as realtors. And especially when you think about what's happened in the last year and how the real estate industry, in a lot of cases, was one of the last to move to e-signatures, electronic signatures. And so you're giving them the ability, and we all know, anyone who's bought a home, like that offer process, a lot of times you are sitting in a car outside of the property. And so being able to access the platform and do that without having to go into a branch, without having to take out a bunch of forms and sign your life away, it can all be done electronically. So accessibility, high marks for that. And I think it's important to emphasize that. And obviously the tech part enables that. It makes it possible. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit here, talk a little bit about the life of a founder. This is a startup company. You're a good Canadian guy. It's not your first rodeo either. Can you talk a bit about what stage you're at? What stage is Deposit Rocket in MVP? Are you past proof of concept? Are you raising funds for this? Bootstraps? Can you talk a little bit about the stage of the company?
Sure. Well, it's a bit of a long story, so I'll cut it short and just say that we are a privately funded Insurtech, and we're quite proud of that. I will say that the stage we're at is we are looking for innovators and first movers. So interestingly enough, you can tell I'm passionate about the product and I believe in it, and I've been getting a lot of great feedback from industry stakeholders and just even from a lot of different consumers. But we haven't had that avalanche of sales waiting for us when we sent out our press release. So I definitely misjudged, that. And so we've been out there and really looking for those people who want to innovate. There's a lot of people in the industry, no different than insurance, that are old dogs, old timers. They've got their book of business, they got their client list, they are rocking and rolling, they're making tons of money. Right now is a great time to be in real estate. It's been a great time for the last nearly 20 years. So there's a lot of people who are adverse to change, or a lot of people who don't feel that their clients need Deposit Rocket, and fair enough. If you've got liquid cash available, then it may not be the product for you. So we've done a lot of research in understanding how to find those first movers and how to market to them and how to add additional value for them, and giving them the opportunity to make inputs into how we go to market. And so I'm really interested to see how it goes. Every morning we have a meeting, team huddle, and we discuss. First question is any signups, and right now I'm not necessarily focused on sales so much as I'm focused on realtors and mortgage brokers signing up to the platform to allow them to issue and to invite their clients. So we had one this morning. We were quite excited, and so we had one yesterday as well. So I'm feeling the momentum starting to pick up. We've been going for about a month, and we had a little bit of a speed wobble. We had one of the regulatory bodies say, "Hey, time out. Let me see what this is all about." And they did their diligence, and we moved. We got through it. But it's exciting times, and we're just looking forward to celebrating. As we hit our first, we do have our first sale, but we are looking to celebrate and have more of a flow business coming in.
I think anybody who's a founder, you don't even have to be in the same space as you, can relate to what you just said. And because you got this big idea, you're solving a big hairy problem in the market that no one else is really addressing. You've done more research than I have. I didn't know this product even existed in other markets outside of Canada. So you're bringing this solution to Canada, and you know what? Credit to you for making the bold move and putting yourself out there. A lot of founders have to do that. They're putting themselves out there. They're taking the risk to solve a problem, and I think you're solving a problem that is, I know, a valid issue for a lot of consumers and realtors, even, or even insurance brokers. You know, insurance broker plays a important role, or even the insurance carrier for those direct writers out there, in that process as well. You know, what is the property that's being purchased? You know, is this a risk that we want to insure? And that's another component of closing the deal. So there's a lot of stakeholders that stand to benefit, and you know, because of the problem that you're solving. And expediency is really the name of the game, in the real estate world. So you know, this is all about creating awareness, and for founders, a lot of times, again, it's not the quality of the problem you're solving, is do enough people know about it. And you know, that's what the Insurtech community exists for, to help enable insurance, and bring technology solutions to insurance. But at the end of the day, if it's not solving a problem for the consumer, what's the point, right? Insurtech doesn't exist just for the purpose of making insurance better for its own sake. It has to serve the end consumer at the end of the day. What would you say, and Don, you may have already touched on it, your biggest challenge? What would you say has been your biggest challenge to date as it relates to Deposit Rocket? And
Sure.
who do you think, just as a follow-up to that,
Mm.
who do you think can help you solve that challenge? Is there someone out there that has the power to help you solve that challenge?
Well, I mean, I mentioned the first challenge, or the immediate challenge I'm having right now, which is finding those first movers. And thank you, John, for having me on. And hopefully, you can help me solve that as we speak. So, but I'll circle back to second part of your last question that I didn't fully answer, and that is kind of the life of the founder. And you know, I think it's a given that you're working your tail off 24/7 weekends, evenings, and I've got a very supportive wife and two beautiful kids. And you might, a little insider tip is, if you watch the Deposit Rocket video, you can see what they look like. But the biggest challenge and the biggest thing that I think people underestimate when you're starting an Insurtech, and not just that, but when you're bringing in a new product, something that's new or that hasn't been done before, is that there's a lot of education that has to go into that. And if anyone has followed any of the top business books, the most expensive thing to do is educate. So I did go into that eyes wide open. We have an agent portal that we've partnered with a company called Teachable. Teachable does a whole walkthrough and with video, and I'm on there, and we actually have it approved by the Mortgage Association, Mortgage Professionals of Canada. And it's not only that, but it's talking to the associations. And we've been speaking to CREA, ORIA, all the BC, Alberta associations, and all the regional associations, and just really spreading the word, getting the word out, making sure that the message is delivered properly. And that takes time, that takes energy, especially during these times, and especially over Christmas. It takes a long time, and a lot of times these associations are a bit agnostic. They can't be promoting, companies, so they kind of got a foot in or a toe in, and so it can be challenging. And we've also approached our marketing a little bit of a different way. I'm not sure I would do it again the same way, but I still hold steadfast to the concept of it. And that concept really was to speak to the Canadian Association, speak to the provincial associations, speak to as many regional associations as we could, and then again, start back at the top. Start speaking to the flagships, talk to the Remaxes, Century 21s of the world at the top level, Keller Williams, and really give them an opportunity to float that the message down to their owner operators, and then from there, from the owner operators to flow down to the agents. And that's worked to a degree, but we've now moved on to specifically targeting the owner operators and the franchise owners and seeing what their take is on the product and the program, and giving them an opportunity to give their agents, give the message to their agents, and so on. And so now we're getting, I would say, then we kind of realized we weren't getting the uptake that we were looking for. And we realized that, we really got to be focused on those innovators, those people that want to, differentiate themselves and want to put themselves out there. And so now we've kind of refocused our marketing strategy around that. And, already this week, like I mentioned, it's paying dividends. So that's, I guess, the biggest challenge is impacting new processes in a new product in a mature industry. And, I do strongly believe in marketing. Can't remember the second half of the Peter Drucker quote, but the second half of it is that, companies are made up of two things. I forget the first thing, but the second thing is marketing. So that's really our focus.
I've got a lot of favorite Peter Drucker quotes myself, around culture and strategy as well. And this really is the thing that excites me to hear you talk about your founder's journey. Is, we talked about earlier, this is a bridge between Insurtech and FinTech, kind of, right? And the prop tech, as you mentioned. Yeah. And those communities, or those industries, or that, FinTech, Insurtech ecosystem touches so many different ancillary or interrelated industries. So I do think there's a part to play, and I don't know if it's today's the time to define that, but maybe it's food for thought for anybody in the insurance community who's out there thinking about this. So someone who's running a brokerage, who works closely with a realtor in their community, or an agent, an insurance agent, that this could be a tool for you. And ultimately, the insurer stands to win from this too, because more new homeowners are coming in to the home buyers market, and that's increasing market share for insurance carriers. And these are likely good risks as well. The last piece I would like to, maybe some closing thoughts around would be, what do you want Deposit Rocket to be known for? When a consumer or a realtor or an insurance broker hears Deposit Rocket, the brand, what do you want it to be known for?
Well, our slogan is a quicker and easier home purchase. And that's overall what we're trying to facilitate. We're trying to give the consumer a better experience. And, when I bought my last home, it was exactly that story. Had been searching for a long time. We didn't know what neighborhoods we wanted to be in. We were living at Lakeshore and Kipling at the time, and we wanted something a little different and closer to the kids' schools. And we just couldn't figure out what neighborhood. It was months and months and months. And then one day we happened upon a neighborhood, and we're like, we love this. And sure enough, there's a house for sale. And sure enough, that offer had to be made that night. And sure enough, the deposit that I put up wasn't probably what it needed to be, or could have been. And we were second. It was a tough pill to swallow, but thankfully there was a home on the neighboring street. And but again, we had some more time, put that deposit together, but the agent still had to, my wife still had to leave the house with a newborn, go to the bank, produce the certified check, drop it off at the agent, or maybe the agent picked it up, I forget which. That agent literally had to drive all the way up Kipling in a ridiculous snowstorm that very day to deliver this certified check, because that was the only part to the puzzle that they weren't able to do online. My particular agent has all the e-sign capabilities. So, we missed out on the first house. I'm not disappointed on that necessarily, but we certainly could have been more so. And we're really looking just to make it a lot more convenient for consumers to make an offer. And we're really wanting to empower realtors to empower the consumer to win their first offer on that first home versus the second, third, or fourth, or fifth. We can do that, and we can provide awesome service where everything is instant. We're going to be in a great spot. We're also launching and looking to add some different products to our offering, and one of those things is a basic a life insurance product. Now, if you're a referring mortgage broker and you offer that, we can easily take that off of our portal and not provide that service. We're also going to be offering disability, and all the neatest one that I think is a real selling tool for realtors is job loss or voluntary unemployment. So if you're nervous about that big purchase and you want to ensure that if you lose your job, that someone makes your mortgage payments, we're going to be able to provide that. So we're really looking to arm the realtor with a bunch of tools that'll help them and ultimately help the consumer.
Fantastic. And you're using insurance products to enable that process. So, great Canadian founder story has a snowstorm involved. So thanks for including that. It's just natural, right? We don't even think about it. So just to recap, you've got a quadruple win solution here, which we talked about earlier, backed by a Canadian insurer, Canadian founder from Ontario. And you're focused on enabling home buying for more people, making it a quicker, more accelerated process. You're using educational and teaching tools to make that possible, trying to connect with as many associations as you possibly can to create awareness and get this solution to the market. So for those associations out there that are watching, Don's going to give you his contact information at the end of this. And you want to be known for a quicker and easier home purchase. That's the slogan of Deposit Rocket. So these were 5 questions with a good Canadian Insurtech founder. Don, just to close off, where can we find you online? And if you want to give out your contact information, go ahead.
All right. Well, easiest way is just to go to depositrocket.ca. And our phone number is below, and my name, and the receptionist will put you through or take a message and email it off to me.
Fantastic. Thanks for sitting down with me today, Don. Loved hearing your story. I'm sure we could talk for hours, and again, really appreciate the solution that you're bringing to the market, and for highlighting the value of Insurtech, and hopefully for those who are watching out here today, you have a better understanding for what Insurtech does and how it benefits society at large. Again, Don.
Thank you, John. Much appreciated.